I'm just gonna start off by saying that I'm not the biggest horror aficionado. I like a good horror movie from time to time, but scary games are a whole other story. I don't know what it is about horror game developers, but they sure know how to scare the crap out of people. From their gory characters to their chilling storylines, some of these games are pretty nightmare-inducing. So today, in honor of spooky season, we're taking a look at the top 10 scary video game bosses that will give you nightmares. What's going on, gamer gang? I'm your host Bree Room, and welcome back to Top 10 Gaming. Today we're taking a trip down spooky lane and talking about some pretty scary bosses. But before we begin, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel and turn on notifications so you always know when a new video comes your way. Also check up here for a playlist to see more awesome content, and with that, let's begin. Starting things off at number 10, Reaper, Dawnguard DLC. The Reaper here is giving me like a 7.5 on the spooky scale. This moderately spooky specter comes from the Skyrim Dawnguard DLC and hails from within the Soul Cairn. This guy is a secret boss that the Dragonborn can summon while in the Reaper's lair by placing 3 Reaper gem fragments on the altar. He wears an executioner's cowl and armor and wields an axe. As if his appearance wasn't spooky enough with his ghostly self, he also has the ability to spit green slime.
What happened? Are you okay?
He slimed me.
This character levels with the player until level 100, and the Reaper is one of the few characters in the game who wears an executioner's hood. I think that the thing that makes this guy spooky is the fact that he's some kind of ghost. The fact that when you kill him, he drops a Daedra heart indicates that he's Daedra adjacent at the very least. But again, that's about as much spook as you're gonna get from this guy. At number 9, the Nameless King, Dark Souls 3. The Nameless King is another optional boss, this time from Dark Souls 3. This dude is also characterized as moderately spooky, though I think he's got more badassery than scariness going for him. This boss can be found in the Archdragon Peak and can be summoned by ringing the bell from the Great Belfry. The Nameless King is pretty majestic, wearing golden armor and donning long wispy ash hair and mounted on the back of his dragon steed named King of Storm.
That's fucking metal as f, dude.
He's also sort of hollow and wields a spear. If you guys get a close look at him, he looks mummified and even skeletal, which adds to the scariness of this character. It is said that he is the firstborn child of the Lord of Light and is described as a dragon-slaying god of war. There are surely other bosses on this list that are scarier than he is, but he still holds the ability to send a shiver down my spine from time to time. I mean, just look at his face. Kinda spooky. Coming in at number 8, Great Serpent, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. This next one goes out to all the Ophidiophobes out there. I want you to imagine a snake, just a plain old white snake, and then scale that bad boy up about 1,000 times. And then you've got the Great Serpent. This danger noodle comes from Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, and though this mini boss isn't really anything special abilities wise, he will still scare the crap out of anyone with a phobia of snakes, or just anyone really. I mean, have you guys seen the size of that guy? While playing the game, you really want to sneak past the Great Serpent or risk getting eaten. You can try to battle it and distract it enough to get past it until your third encounter with the beast after obtaining the Puppeteer Ninjutsu, allowing you to then kill the snake. But up until that point, your best bet is to run fast, run far, and do not look back. In at number 7, Marguerite Baker, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard.
I told you to stay out of here!
Marguerite Baker is one ooky spooky lady. She was the matriarch of the Baker family, and when she and her family encountered Mia Winters and Evelyn, that's when things went sideways. Evelyn, who was a telepathically charged bioorganic weapon, infected Mia and the Baker family, including Marguerite. This led to Marguerite becoming the mutant we see her as in the game. Marguerite is now a mutated, insect-infested creature of our nightmares. Top half old woman, bottom half bug nest. She may not have that wop, but she does have a pest problem. This woman has centipedes coming out of her mouth and is able to climb up walls and just looks like a festering and decaying mess. And if that's not enough to make your skin crawl, how about the fact that she also consumes people? Yep, she is a cannibal too. The total package, isn't she? At number 6, High Lord Wolnir, Dark Souls 3. Dark Souls is really just a scare factory of a game because we're back with another boss. This time we're talking about High Lord Wolnir. Skeletons aren't really the biggest source of fear for many people anymore, but there's just something about Dark Souls that just makes them a little bit more terrifying. Perhaps it's his colossal size or the environment in which you're battling him, but the whole boss fight is just spooky central. After finding a chalice and touching it, you are then transported to a dark place where you find the High Lord. You are then set to battle the giant skeleton, and it's a tough battle too. He takes very little damage and is always trying to swat at you and crush you beneath his bony hands. Luckily, if you manage to break his golden bracelets, it allows you to deal more damage to him and defeat him, but it's still scary trying to dodge this terrifying creature. Halfway through at number 5, Mutant Megan, the Forest. This mutant isn't the cool, fun X-Men kind of mutant. She's more of the scream, run and hide and try not to pee yourself kind of mutant. This Mutant Megan character is the final boss of the forest, and if you're familiar with the game, then you must be already familiar with the other lovely mutants like Armsy, Virginia or Legsy, and my personal favorite, Worm. Love you, Worm. Mutant Megan, with her many appendages, is created from a child named, you guessed it, Megan, using the Resurrection Obelisk. This final boss is found in the research lab just before the end of the game's story. This creature is just so freaking scary. It moves with quick agility, and when it attacks you, it's chilling. There are just so many limbs to keep track of that they honestly just seem to come out of nowhere. It's got spin attacks, leap attacks, and can even spawn mutant babies, and those little blob monsters are scary enough on their own. This boss for sure has the ability to haunt your nightmares, and it's at least a 9.5 on the spooky scale. In at number 4, Scarlett, Silent Hill Homecoming. If you have a fear of dolls, this next one will for sure give you nightmares. Scarlett is the second boss you encounter in Silent Hill Homecoming, and honestly, it's enough to make me stop playing the game altogether. She starts off as the doll that belonged to Dr. Fitch's daughter, and when he drops the doll, it sinks into a pool of blood and re-emerges as this large, lanky, doll-like monster that prompts the next fight. Between her loud shrieks and screams and the fact that she can walk on all fours is scary enough, but combine that with the fact that she still retains her porcelain doll look, and it's gonna haunt your dreams. It'll make going down the Barbie doll aisle just a little bit more unsettling. She also has needle-like teeth and could really shred you to pieces if she got a hold of you. And she can also be seen covered in blood as you fight her, which really just makes things so much scarier for the player. I honestly didn't need to go into detail as to why this thing is so terrifying, because I think if you just see a picture of her, you'll know what I mean. Coming in at number 3, Panzer Mortar, Call of Duty World War II. If you don't find this next one to be absolutely bone-chilling, there's something wrong. Panzer Mortar from Call of Duty World War II is the epitome of WTF content. I'm not sure whose brain thought this up, but I think that person needs to chill out a bit because this creature is straight out of hell.
I am the devil, and I am here to do the devil's work.
In this game, this creature is the final boss and is essentially created by a mad scientist as a Nazi effort to defeat the Allied forces. It is a combination of flesh and metal and contains the bodies of multiple humans. Its entire body shows bits and pieces of human anatomy like spines, legs, heads, and more. Its mouth is made of several human heads, and this beast is super strong. When the Panzer Mortar attacks, it can deplete 1 armor per hit, but it's not like you want to get too close to this thing anyway. Luckily, as the final boss of the game, you're able to get through most of the game's story without having to encounter this monstrosity, so your gaming experience isn't ruined, but upon encountering this guy, I don't know if I'd want to continue playing. I think I'd just tap out then and live the rest of my life Panzer Mortar free. At number 2, Amalgam Alpha, The Devil Within. Here's another monstrosity for you guys, as if you weren't freaked out enough by that last one. Amalgam Alpha is another mashup of corpses and flesh with just a dash of hellspawn thrown in for good measure. He's got chains flowing throughout that disgusting mass of flesh, and though many of the bodies incorporated into this disastrous creature are dead, some of them are still alive and conscious through this entire thing. Could you imagine being one of the people still kicking when combined into this literal demon? That's almost as scary as actually encountering the beast. Amalgam Alpha stands at 4 meters tall and has a large eye stalk that it uses to scan its surroundings looking for its prey. If you happen to be one of the unlucky few that becomes its prey, be warned that this guy can crush a human flat in just just one hit. This terrifying, bloody, fleshy, gore-filled monster could make even Satan himself cry, and that will, for sure, end up walking through the path of your nightmares. Finally at number 1, Rom the Vacuous Spider, Bloodborne. I'm putting this one at number 1 just because it scares me the most. Yeah, sure, the last two were grotesque, gory flesh monsters, but this one hits too close to home because it's a spider, and I would rather scoop out my eyes with a hot spoon than have to deal with a spider, especially this one. Rom the Vacuous Spider is probably the equivalent to what hell looks like. She's a giant spider with like 2.3 billion eyes and has the ability to summon spiders to fight alongside her. She's rounder than a normal spider and has many small and thin legs, but that's not to say that she's not terrifying. Just her papaya seed eyes alone are enough to make you break out into a cold sweat. Rom can also teleport, so that's great. Imagine fighting this beast for it to just teleport away from you and summon a bunch more spiders to come and fight you.
You eight-legged freaks!
The whole boss fight is just a big ol' nope. There's too many spiders, legs, and eyes for me to sit comfortably and focus on the fight. My skin is just crawling thinking about it. Okay, that was some pretty scary stuff. Which boss scared you the most? I think for me it would have to be a tie between Rom and the Panzer Mortar. But before we wrap up today's video, let's do some comment shoutouts from top 10 most expensive Pokemon cards. Jeremy DeFi says, so you mean the shiny Pikachu that I gave away to some kid would actually be something actually good to sell online? What am I doing with my life? Dude, you should know better. You don't just give away Pokemon cards. These things can be worth like thousands of dollars later. So like, keep them to yourself. Put them in your pocket, put them in a safe, safety deposit box, something. Do not give them away. J-Bone says, I'm going to get my set appraised. Yeah, honestly, everyone should. You might have some hidden gems and you might not realize it. You could be sitting on a gold mine, so go get your coin. Cordell Raymer says, I still have my Surfing Pikachu card. By the way, I'm still collecting them Pokemon cards. I know a lot of people are still collecting Pokemon cards, but I feel like it's a 90s kid type of thing, you know? I don't see a lot of younger kids collecting Pokemon cards. Or is that just me? Does anyone else know? I don't know. XX Anime Girl says, I need some more FNAF. I'm addicted since birth. Yes, FNAF is cool, but could you imagine if they made FNAF trading cards like Pokemon, like you could battle each other? That would be pretty sick. But thanks guys for tuning in. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that Spookfest I brought you. If you did, let us know by giving it a thumbs up on the video and subscribing to the channel. That's all I've got for you guys today, but until next time, stay spooky boys.